Never shall innocent blood be shed. Yet the blood of the wicked shall flow like a river. The three shall spread their blackened wings and be the vengeful striking hammer of God. You people have been chosen to reveal our existence to the world. You will witness what happens here today, and you will tell of it later. All eyes to the front. You must watch, dear. It'll all be over soon.
Now you will receive us. We do not ask for your poor or your hungry. We do not want your tired and sick.
It is your corrupt we claim.
It is your evil that will be sought by us.
With every breath, we shall hunt them down.
Each day, we will spill their blood till it rains down from the skies.
Do not kill, do not rape, do not steal. These are principles which every man of every faith can embrace.
These are not polite suggestions. These are codes of behavior. And those of you that ignore them will pay the dearest cost.
There are varying degrees of evil. We urge you lesser forms of filth, not to push the bounds and cross over into true corruption, into our domain.
For if you do, one day you will look behind you and you will see we three. And on that day, you will reap it.
And we will send you to whatever God you wish.
And shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from thy hand. May swiftly carry out thy command. So we shall flow river forth to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be.
In nomine Patri.
Et Filii, Spiritus Sancti.
How far are we gonna take this star?
The question is not how far. The question is, do you possess the Constitution? The depth of faith to go as far as is needed?
Good evening.
What's up, guys?
Hey guys.
So we're gonna have fun tonight.
But don't we have fun
So-
every night, Steve?
Oh, I'm leading it, so we're gonna have extra special fun.
Okay. Okay.
Well, keyword special.
Yes. Well, the title of our stream is Victim Special Olympics. How did I come up with this? Well, all women eventually claim victim status. All women think they are special snowflakes. And all women are in competition with other women and with men. So, Victim Special Olympics basically describes what women do. So, our format tonight, we're going to review 3 videos. And they're talking about female behavior with some examples and stories and whatnot. And then we'll stop it and we'll talk about these examples and how it affirms things that we have said in the past. So you can consider this a continuation of last week's stream when Plutarch led our discussion on Cluster B. We're also going to talk about masks. And I don't know, a year ago or so, I did a stream, The Mask She Wears. So, and then at the end, there's a video. I'm going to introduce a new phenomenon that is starting to show up in young women. And I don't know that the red pill is talking about it yet. So we'll go there. And I think this is evidence that the quality of women is declining. The more generations that fathers have been removed from the family, the more wacky women become. Patriarchy and discipline are necessary for the family, for women, for the rearing of children, and for society. Otherwise, things just start to unravel. So I don't have any words on screens to bring up. I'm not bringing up new concepts. This is mainly to discuss what we see.
Well,
So
Steve,
how-
you did say you were bringing up one new concept.
Well, yeah, but I'm not outlining it with words and a
Okay,
PowerPoint
okay.
presentation. That's what I mean.
Okay.
So how did the red pill come about? Well, in my opinion, it was men coming together, sharing their experiences and stories and observations. And then they formed a working hypothesis. It says, well, maybe it's like this. And then that was critiqued. And then, okay, that will be my operative belief until something else comes up. Well, that doesn't quite fit. And so then you fine tune it. So the red pill is kind of a thought evolution. And we are continuing in that with that idea in mind. So at its basis, I'm showing this to show how easy it is to understand women. That is what brought us all into the red pill. We thought women cannot be understood. It's not logical. This doesn't make any sense. Well, my premise is women can be logically understood, but it's a different operating system that they have and a different reality spectrum. And so if we understand it by the man's reality spectrum, we're not going to get it. understand it by theirs, it is understandable. For instance, in the male world, what is the speed of light?
We call it the constant C. It's 180 some thousand
6,000 miles
miles.
per second.
Yeah.
What's the speed of light in women's world?
Whatever they feel like it is that day.
It depends. Okay. There is no constant. I mean, I kind of say that tongue in cheek, but hopefully you can get the idea. So we're going to start out by reviewing Advocating Babylon. That's a Catholic channel. Anthony Abate hosts this. Let me bring it up here. And the title of his stream is Trad Wife Influencers Are Lying to You. So this is 15 minutes long. We'll stop it and comment as it goes. So let's start. You guys have anything to say?
Well, I mean, my wife has spent many thousands of hours providing material to prove the point that he's trying to make here. So I will say going in that I already agree with what he's likely to say. So if you're expecting unbiased, probably not from this corner.
Let's say this, the male spectrum is actually able to understand the female spectrum, but it takes a bit of work. It takes some sharing of notes, comparison, noticing intersexual dynamics, understanding the behavior of women, and coming to understand how their operating system works for them. So you can comprehend what's going on, even though you think it's absolute crap.
Hey, Nick. Okay.
There's not really the feminine mystique. I reject.
I reject it too, but then the feminists will say, aha, but women understand you men even better. Nick, do you
No,
think
they
that's
don't. No, they don't.
Okay,
No.
just had to throw that out there because equalitarian arguments appear to be the order of the day on the internet.
Okay, well, let's get started.
It looks like a video of an annoying woman.
It is an annoying woman.
Of course it is.
Of course it's an annoying woman. Let's play this one.
Where are they hiding the 47-year-old trad wives? That's what I want to know. That's what I think about every time I see one of these videos from like a 19 or 20-year-old talking about having no job and no degree and she loves it and it's amazing. Where are the trad wives that are my age, that are 47, that are 50? Why are they not out there espousing how amazing?
Doesn't she realize most 50-year-old women aren't on Instagram like she
That's
is?
exactly what it is. Like I played this with my wife before, and I'm like she wants to know where all the 47-year-old trad wives are. She goes, "We're not on the internet." It's like,
Oh my god!
So the ones that are 20 are doing a LARP, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it really comes down to. So all right, wait. I sent one to our because I want to send you this. Like there's the
47-year-old trad wives are watching us. They're not online.
So I'm gonna send this one to the Telegram because it was in our group chat, but I want to read this article. Pull this article up. This is totally insane. I just sent it to Telegram.
Yeah, I got it.
So this like the young girl trad wife LARP is a thing, right? And it's these young girls who get on the internet and they're baking cakes and they're doing all this stuff, and it's like it's a LARP. They're not really trad wives, like they're on the internet and they're e-girls, right? That's a very different thing than a genuine trad wife, right? A legitimate trad wife is just at home, like caring for her home. So this article is infuriating. So divorced, destitute, and left for dead, the dark side of trad wife life after 35. Divorce was analogous to a curse word for Anitza Templeton's hyper-traditional faith-centered home, with her husband hailed king of the castle, almost rivaling the Holy Trinity between God the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Templeton, who married at age 26, eagerly abandoned her dreams of pursuing a career in art to instead satisfy her man's every commandment. That's my wife. She abandoned her career in
First
art.
off, there's no such thing of a career in art.
Exactly. From growing the family's produce in her private garden. Like, this woman is describing an idyllic, beautiful life. Growing the family's produce in her private garden to gussing up in a sexy outfit and cosmetics before he came home from work. The brunette's routine became that of an extreme 1950s homemaker, obeying, baking, and baby making. First off, I don't believe a word of this. This woman did not do any.
In this article, I just want to point something out to the audience. Notice the extreme language that the author is using to describe this woman's life. Okay, there's none of it on screen right now, but I just want you guys to note how extreme they define it. And the interesting thing about that in this case is, well, Anthony said it. These women are extremely on the internet. They take the trad wife LARP to an unhealthy extreme. They do. Okay. Because real trad wives aren't on Instagram. This one was. So that already tells you that there's something very broken about this person. And then oh, go ahead, Nick.
She abandoned her dreams, meaning that internally she was never really a quote unquote trad wife to begin with.
Well, but Nick, you know what else it means?
What?
I guarantee she always had some resentment over it.
Oh.
Okay. And so go back to the title. What is she laying the groundwork for here?
Why she left him.
Victimhood status. Okay, let's continue.
Of these things. This woman is a hag.
No.
So I don't believe any of that. So it's a regime that most traditional or trad wives follow based on religious principles. Unlike housewives, women who raise kids and manage their households as equals to their working spouses. Like, come on. Women who raise kids and manage their households as equals to their working spouses. Trad wives often become subservient subordinates whose sole purpose is to please their partner. This is not, I don't know, maybe this exists.
No, this is feminist framing. This is just feminist framing.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say, Anthony, just call it what it is. This is feminist framing of how they think these trad wives' lives look.
Well, and he has to laugh at it. Because this isn't, it's just absurd. This never happens.
Not in real life, no.
Subservient subordinates whose sole purpose is to please their partner. Gee, does that describe your wife, Plutarch?
No. And I'm going to be blunt here, guys. I don't need a subservient subordinate who just does whatever I command. It's actually not that useful. And frankly, it's kind of annoying running every detail of someone else's life. I've got a lot to do in my own day. I really don't have time to run every detail in yours. And to all you guys out there saying, oh, well, that just means you're not man enough. Guys, how do you think I keep a pretty attractive woman around? I work my freaking ass off. But it means I don't have time to run her life like this.
Oh, men understand what a needy woman is.
Yes.
A subservient subordinate would be a very needy woman.
Yeah.
And you would just go, holy shit. Grow up. Just get the fuck away from me.
Okay, so the literary thing tactic she's doing is basically giving you a double subordination, and subordination just means literally ordered under. there's a hierarchy. Of course, she's like, it's an extreme hierarchy, basically, is what she's saying right here.
Oh, it's a total literary hack to make you think that this woman is. I mean, she's trying to put the visual in your head that this woman is a mild church mouse who gets beaten by her husband's hands every day and just willingly accepts it. And how do I know that? Because I heard the same thing out of feminists growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. The exact same stuff.
Yep. Got to exaggerate it to refute it. Okay, let's keep going.
A trad wife's duties are to her home. It's like, it's just so dumb. It's such a caricature and a cliche. But by 36, Templeton found herself feeling like a prisoner in her marriage, which ultimately ended in the once taboo D word. And the mother of four shared that her biggest challenge post-divorce was navigating life without a solid education, professional resume, or real-world experience. The New Jersey native is just one in the rising army of former trad wives who, after saying "I do" to a life of submissive servitude,
there it is again.
Oh man, no, that's
yeah.
She called herself a prisoner, submissive servitude in a rising army. They're so important. They're part of a movement.
Oh, yes. An army of victims. Okay, let's keep going.
Like trads are keeping their wives as slaves. It's so
what's that stupid show?
With Gideon or something, right? The
with the red.
Yeah. What is it? The housemaid thing.
Come on, guys.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. That show one-shotted women so bad.
So bad.
No, I don't know if it gets into it, but I noticed so far they haven't told us anything about this divorce as to.
And listen to me. They can't list a single thing the husband did wrong. Like, the husband's out working all day. The wife has a garden and she looks pretty for him when he comes home. My goodness, the horror. How could she live a life of subservience to her husband like this? It's like, dude, my wife, I come home and my wife, like yesterday I came home and my wife decided she was going to paint all the doors in my house while I was at work yesterday. And I come home and my wife is covered in paint. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I decided to paint everything today. And like that, like my wife does what she wants to do. It's not like some days I come home and she's in the backyard in the garden and she's gardening and doing her thing in the backyard. She's not sitting around as my slave, like, especially now at this point in life. Like, she just literally does what she wants to do.
Yeah.
And every woman
what this guy is describing about, coming home and your wife's just doing things. Hi, my name's Plutarch, and this is my life too. There's this idea out there that I think is incorrect, that somehow because you're red pill, that you must dominate your wife's every living moment.
That takes too much energy.
Exactly. I ain't got the time or energy for that. The reality is that she's going to do shit. Okay. And as long as she doesn't damage something or cause bodily harm to someone or herself, very likely I'm going to let her just go. Now, of course, if she spends too much money, we cut off the money because we don't want to miss rent payments. There are limits on what she can do. But okay, sure. guys, last night I walked downstairs. It's dinner time. And what do I find my wife doing? Oh, I bought racks to organize my spices and herbs and spices to put in the food. Okay. Well, you guys think I flew off the handle because she spent a little bit of money organizing her kitchen? I went, okay. And you put it together and you organized it and you didn't bother me. Cool. Like That's a that
She had an idea, she implemented it, and she was excited about it. And okay, what's the problem? None.
Hey, yeah, exactly. I just let her do it. And nothing bad happened, even though she didn't explicitly get my consent to spend the money. Hey, she's got an allowance, and that allowance is
And
set
then-
up so that it doesn't influence the bill money.
And some days you go in and find her, and she holds up, look, I've been knitting all day.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Look, guys, that's what an actual relationship with a dominant man and a submissive wife looks like. This isn't some, domineering. I mean, what these feminists want you to believe it is, where I'm dominating every moment of her life. Frankly, I ain't got the time for that.
Okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna kind of be ride Rufford over you because we got plenty of time to talk.
That goes to work is miserable at work. Like nobody wants to work. I don't want to work. Why would anybody work? I would give anything to not have to work. It's so insane that people think that they want to work.
Guess what, guys? Careers aren't fulfilling. Stop telling people they're fulfilling. They're not
really
fulfilling.
That's really what it is, right? So people think you're going to be fulfilled in a career, and you're definitely not.
You think you want them to be fulfilling because your normal life isn't fulfilling. That's what you're getting wrong.
Yeah.
Your wife
Yeah,
outside of work is supposed to be fulfilling.
Right. So I go to work. It's just a way to provide for my family. It's just all it is. It's just the thing that brings the paycheck in to pay the bills, to do the thing I actually care about, which is being a husband and father. That's my purpose. My purpose is being a husband and father. I don't give a crap about
they're the opposite of fulfilling.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Whoever's feeding anyone this nonsense that you're going to be fulfilled from your career. Men aren't fulfilled in their career.
Anthony, it's
dumb.
feminism. Just
people who
call it
say
what
they
it
be
is.
bored at home are boring people.
That's all I had to say. You didn't have to stop it. I might just yell out things over him.
My wife's never bored. Never, ever, ever bored. Ever. Because I watched a clip of LeBron James recently where he was like, I don't know. I couldn't have my wife just sitting. I could never marry a stay-at-home girl who is just sitting around on the couch all day while I'm out working. And
first off, the man doesn't know what working is.
But the point is I'm not kidding. I'm married 21 years tomorrow. I have never once come home from work and my wife is sitting on the couch. Never once. My wife doesn't sit on the couch. My wife is always doing stuff. She's constantly doing stuff. I've never seen her not busy.
Well,
I did all the time.
Anthony's still married, Nick.
Yeah.
So obviously he married a different kind of woman than you did.
And if I came home tired and I just want to sit on the couch for a few minutes, the amount of disgust I saw on her face. You should be doing something. You need to help me with this. I'm like, I literally just want to sit down for 5 minutes. Thank you.
When I come home, first marriage, my wife would say, okay, I'm off duty. Now it's your turn. Yeah, I've been off taking a nap all day long. Yeah, I've been having so much fun at work, but it's really not work. Now I get to come home and she gets to take a break because I've been taking a break all day long because she hasn't seen me do anything. It's absurd.
But Steve, clearly, because that's what all the shows on TV that she was watching while you were at work show you doing. I mean, you must just be standing around the water cooler and chatting with all your friends, and then you have to go to a meeting where all you do is talk about, I don't know, the weather, because that's all that they ever see on TV at home. So clearly that must be what you're doing.
Must be. Okay, I might have to skip ahead. This part's getting a little slow.
She's got a ton of stuff to do at our house. She's constantly doing my freaking I can't tell you how often the furniture has changed around in my house.
4 years, and it was the most controversial thing he's ever done.
It really was. I upended my entire house to put this studio together. All right. So, and Templeton shared that her biggest challenge post-divorce was navigating life without a solid education, professional resume, or real-world experiences. The New Jersey native is just, we went through all this already. So there aren't a lot of trad wives over 35 or 40 because the reason I put this article after is because this is a response to that woman asking where all the 47-year-old trad wives are. There aren't a lot of trad wives over 35 or 40 because they've either got divorced and moved away from the lifestyle after learning how toxic it can be. Templeton, now 43, a women's advocate currently based in Denver. So this woman was a conservative trad wife, and now she's a women's advocate. Like, this woman was always a freaking women's advocate.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Online discourse around the former trad wives erupted recently after Jessica Valenti, a New York City feminist, speaker, and author, asked a seemingly lighthearted question on social media. That's a video we just watched. At a certain age, I got to the point in the marriage where I was like, OMG, is this really what I want to do with my life? What comes after this? It's like,
first off,
it's not like her husband abused her. It's not like her husband cheated. At a certain point, she got to her, she's got her children.
Oh, what we see here, she's hit the wall. Oh, dang. This is not what I really wanted. Oh, man. He's not blowing my lights out for me anymore. Oh.
All along, she made the choices that she did because it's what she wanted at the time.
Uh-huh. And she could change her mind. Now she's a victim of her own choices. And, she doesn't have to want for anything, but man, she's bored. Time to go on a journey.
Yeah.
She's a victim.
Okay, here's the next thing. We're going to have to. We've heard this before.
Children and her husband. At a certain point, she went,
does she have children?
What? Oh, never mind.
Can you imagine being one of her children and hearing her say that?
Dude,
is this really what I want to do with my life? What comes after this?
These women, I'm telling you, they're on social media. They get a DM from an old guy on Facebook or something like that. So these women always think the grass is greener somewhere else. So they throw a nuke into their own home and rip their family apart because they think they're going to find something better. She's a 43-year-old hag with nobody going around as a women's advocate. Because what else is she going to do? And then she's going to be 50 one day. Her children aren't going to talk to her because she torpedoed their life.
Yeah.
And she's going to be alone at 55, 60. Mm-hmm. It's crazy what some of these women do.
It's so much of it is because these women are told that they're worth way more than they're worth. You know what I mean? Like that they deserve everything that.
And they think they're going to go onto the dating market at 40 with 3 kids, and guys are going to be dying to hang out with them. And what they really like, especially in the modern dating world, guys in their 40s are not looking to like. It's not like it used to be. Like if a guy gets divorced, he wants to get remarried. Like these guys are just running through these women, like, and so they're getting treated like garbage. They're just you see the freaking guy up in Maine getting accused of rape in a situationship at like 40 years old. It's like these women have no idea what they're setting themselves up for, man. Wait, I just wanted to read this one more paragraph. You can leave it down. I'll just read it. Of the trad wives who do stay in their marriages, she believes they have become dead inside, and that's why they're not promoting a lifestyle like the young, popular trad wives online. Older wives are keeping their heads down, getting their teeth and gritting their teeth and waiting to die because that's all that's left for them.
The projection there is astounding.
Dude, let me just tell you something.
Okay. I think we got the flavor of this one. Have we heard this story before?
It is the story that we hear. I mean, in part because of selection bias in the red pill. Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
But
recognition. Yeah.
This story is, why do women file divorce 70% of the time? Yeah, that's the story. So 70% of all divorces are going to have a story like this. That's just the truth. Sorry, guys.
And she was a religious woman and a traditional woman.
Oh, she did it all.
And it doesn't say who filed for divorce. Doesn't even hardly mention the husband. Doesn't say he did anything wrong other than they just had a traditional marriage. And she was wondering what to do with her life and felt deprived of experiences and whatnot. I will guarantee you that she filed for the divorce.
Steve, are you looking for us to disagree with you?
Chances are that's the
No,
case. It could be the other way around, where she basically forced his hand, but
could be. Yeah, we don't know
Yeah.
for sure, but I'm sticking with my prediction. If I'm wrong, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So now we're going to go to another stream. This one is by Rich Cooper.
Oh, don't you know Rich Cooper's a bad man? No one should listen to him.
Oh, yeah, I do.
I got a lot out of Rich Cooper. I appreciate him.
So do I. And no, he is not a
Okay.
bad man. We might disagree on certain things, but no, not a bad man.
Okay. Let's go.
A viewer here who titled it "It's All Pointless," meaning relationships with women. It's a few pages long, but I think it's worth using this as a very good example, and I'll offer some insight and feedback on it towards the end on what I think about the whole notion of it's pointless dealing with women. Anyway, he says, "Hey Rich, I want to say that I wish I would have read The Top Shelf Men before I got in my last relationship. If you haven't read my most recent book, it's pinned below in the description. This relationship just ended the last weekend. I'll summarize it below. If I would have known about the 3 iddies, I'll talk about that towards the end, I might still be with this woman. Although I'm glad it all worked out the way it did. I just wish your videos had been around when I was in my early 20s. It would have definitely shortened the learning curve in life. I love my dad, and he's a great counselor on money and all things business, but he was not the best with advice on women. But he was a product of generation and was taught to treat women like princesses. It's not his fault. He was working with the tools he had. On to the main story. I'm definitely not going to get married ever again. After getting completely blistered in my divorce 10 years ago, I learned I did not want to do that again. That's a story for another time, but I'm a relationship guy. I think men and women are better together. I've said this before, they're better together than they are apart. But that being said, I'm about ready to hang it up on this last experience. 2 years ago, I walked into my gym and I noticed a cute little brunette with a bob-style haircut. She had a friendly smile and a very sweet demeanor to her. I'm usually anti-approaching the gym because it's my space. I don't want to ruin it dating and hitting on women there. We'll call her Rachel. Rachel was working with a trainer, a female trainer. When I saw her the first time, I went in and started my lifting. Every time I stopped to rest, I would look over and notice she was looking my way and she would smile. That's what we call an indicator of interest, gentlemen. So after my session, she was on a treadmill and I walked over and introduced myself and got her number. We began texting a lot. We had a lot in common and genuinely enjoyed the conversation. She was smart, funny, feminine, and very sweet. We set up a date. After the first date, we didn't stop for over 2 years. I'm sure I missed some red flags, but she treated me well. She cooked for me. She'd come over to my apartment and clean it while I was traveling, so I would have a clean space to come back to. She would bake me cakes on my birthdays and just at random times to bring in to my team in the office. She would DoorDash coffee to me when she knew I was busy at work and couldn't stop to get one. All markers of genuine burning desire that you talk about in your first book. Now, she was a single mom of 3 kids. I know I shouldn't commit to a single mom, but I'm 47, almost 48, and live in a geographic and cultural South, so it's nearly impossible.
You want to comment on that, Nick?
Yeah, that's like the major thing. Like all that, the rest is great, but single mom, 3 kids, it's like breaks.
Run.
Yeah.
I will agree. I did it, and I can tell you why. because you will never be top priority. There are always her children. She will maintain authority over them and use them for leverage over you. And you will have no ability to make boundaries and do any type of mild discipline or criticism of those children. She will come to their defense and it will destroy the relationship. Even if they're your in a normal marriage, your biological children, a woman will still do that. But you have a chance of maintaining your authority. In a blended family, you have no chance.
Also, Steve, even though it's not always 100% of the time, she chose not to stick around with the other guy. She might say, well, he left me. Okay, that does happen. But most of the time, she decided to leave her man with 3 kids that she had with him or more.
Yes.
Whatever.
So she doesn't have a good track record. Okay, let's keep going.
To find someone my age that doesn't have kids. And I tried my hand at dating 20-year-olds, and I just don't like them. They're essentially retarded. Especially the pretty ones, he said. So I'm stuck dating single moms. But as I always ensure the kids are older and out of the house or almost there before I consider anything close to a commitment. That's fair enough. About a year in, we decided it's time to meet the kids. I have one as well, so we did that, and it all went well on both sides with the kids. And I started thinking that this might be a long-term permanent situation. I wasn't perfect in the relationship. I probably let some things slide that I shouldn't have, but for the most part, I did the right things when it came to relationships. I led, I set boundaries, I checked her when she would test them. For example, we had to talk about being serious, which she initiated. I let her know that 2 of my boundaries were no girls' trips and girls' nights would be given serious scrutiny. She agreed to everything we discussed, but about a year in, coincidentally not long after meeting families and beginning to stay at each other's homes, she brought up going on a low-key beach trip with her best friend. I let her know quickly that she's an adult, she's free to do whatever she wants to do, and that if that's what she chooses.
No.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep.
Done.
Well, okay.
Done.
Yeah. The answer is you can go. Don't come back here. You're going somewhere else when you come back.
And you're going to find out that's what he says. But here is the point I want to make. They had this discussion. A year goes by. She's feeling more secure. And then she springs it on him. So there was good behavior, but then she's going to test it. Like, oh, okay. I got him hooked now. Now I can do whatever.
This is what happens when you tell women that pussy is all men care about, because they think, oh, well, if I just get him hooked on my pussy, then I will be able to slowly start doing whatever I want to do. And because he's addicted to me, he'll just let me do it.
Right.
What we're describing, guys, is frame, or the lack thereof in this case.
Yeah. Well, let's see what how this guy handles it.
I would not be in her life when she got back. She wasn't happy about it, but she decided not to go. And her girls' nights went from late night bar hopping with a group to just an occasional night at a wine bar with her best friend. As a note, her best friend is in her late 50s and married, so the nights at the wine bar were never more than a couple hours, and those only happened 3 times in the last 2 years. Fairly reasonable so far. To describe me, and this is not to brag, just to illustrate the point of the story, I'm 6'3", a competitive power lifter. I'm in good shape, broad shoulders, muscles. I earn 6 figures. Have a nice apartment, drive a nice car and truck, have my own hobbies and interests and friends. I travel for work. I am a 1L law student earning my JD on the weekends. I'm not sure what a 1L law student is. Maybe somebody can chime in the comments. Just something I've always wanted to do. Didn't make her my world. She was an important part, but just not the center of it. I've always said a woman wants a man with a sparkle in his eyes, but she doesn't want to be that sparkle. Sounds like he's doing everything right so far. I would plan dates and surprises, take her on work trips with me, plan vacations. She had what she wanted, and maybe that was the part of the problem. But I like going out and having a nice dinner and drinks. I work hard and play hard, so it was nice to have a female companion. These trips weren't planned specifically for her. It was just a welcomed addition all to say she had it made. We didn't live together, but we had a schedule. The weeks I was not traveling, I would spend Tuesday and Thursday night at her place, and on the weekends, I didn't have my kids. I would stay the weekend, or she would come over to my apartment. On nights we didn't see each other, we would talk for about an hour right before bed just to check in on each other and see how the day was. About a year and a half into the relationship, she got a new job. She went from a job that was basically brainless to back working in her field that she had left a few years before we had met. This was my encouragement because her talent was being wasted. Again, probably a mistake on my part. All was good the first year or so. Then I started noticing the changes at the end of the last year. I would occasionally check her phone, never saw much of anything. The phone was never an indicator, like a lot of people say, because of our schedule and routine. She would be able to clean up any evidence before I got there. I should also mention that we had each other's phone passwords. Around last Thanksgiving in the US, I noticed a selfie she took where she was all fixed up. I remember that day she was running out to get a Christmas tree. She was not one to get fixed up to go on errands. So there's the suspicion starting to build. So I saw it and inquired about it. Of course, I got the, "Oh, I meant to send that to you" answer. But as I probed into why she dressed up to get a tree, which is a dirty job, she couldn't give me an answer. So I clocked that. I told her that her answer didn't sit right with me, to which she began to try to explain more, which let me know it was all a lie. This triggered me to start paying closer attention. Along this same period, she began taking a lot of vitamins and supplements for hair, skin, and nails. Another trigger. We always shared locations just due to my travels, and her old job were all over the city, and some of those places were not so nice. So the staying later at work began, which was honestly explainable because she had to terminate someone on her team who messed up a lot of things and cost the company a bunch of money. But coupled with the later evenings at the office, distance began. At first, it was barely texting during the day, again, somewhat explainable due to her being in a position down on her team, being busy, but she wouldn't text on her way home, and sometimes she wouldn't text for hours. There were some days I wouldn't hear from her for about 5 to 6 hours. She also was the one who would reach out and text first. I would check in from time to time, but I'm very busy, and I would always respond. Then I started noticing other things. The affection got weird. She was always very touchy with me, would jump up as soon as I got to her place and hug and kiss me. She still would, but it took time for her to get up and greet me. It felt forced. The next indicator was the lack of talk about future plans. I talked about this in my second book, by the way, in one of the green flags. I had planned 2 trips to the beach this summer, one with my extended family and one for just us. When they were first planned, she was very excited and talked about it a lot. She loved the beach. That talk died down, and the last 2 weeks and when I would bring it up, I would barely get a response. We also had planned a Christmas trip to Chicago for her and her kids. She paid for the kids' plane tickets and hotel. I covered her flight with miles and our room. The excitement and talk about it died off as well in the last couple weeks. I also noticed a coworker's name began to come up a lot around this time. And there it is. I thought nothing of it at first because it was a woman, Joanna. 2 weeks ago.
There you go. Look, guys, women tell on themselves. They literally cannot help it. Okay? My ex told on herself, and she was honestly shocked that I figured it out as quickly as I did. Now, in part, that's because she'd been telling herself that I paid no attention to her. But that's why women do it. They tell themselves some story that justifies what they're doing, but by telling themselves that story, they set themselves up to tell on themselves. So for my ex, it was, oh, well, he doesn't pay any attention to me, so he won't notice if I get a little friendly with that hot piece of ass over there, right? Because he's not paying attention to me. And then I drop in out of the blue almost immediately. It was pretty quick. I don't know exactly how long. And she's like, but. And I'm just like, well, what did you expect? Well, I thought I would get through 3 months. She honestly thought she would get through 3 more months.
Women leak information. Well, okay, I'll just go with that for a bit. You got to watch their behavior, watch who they mention, those little things that change their enthusiasm about things. Now, guys, you leak information too.
Yes, sir.
Guys are generally too honest with their women. Actually tell some of their failures and past fuck ups and whatnot. Because in the guy's world, okay, we've all been there. We've done that. You tell those things to a guy friend. He goes, yep, me too. Forget about it and move on. No, women file those things away. So don't be telling women your secrets because they will never forget them. But they also will never directly tell you their secrets. But you can kind of figure out what their secrets are because they will leak information around the edges, and then you have to fill in the gap.
And guys, a lot of women will try to say that, oh, well, but you don't have any proof that that's what I'm doing. And yes, you don't have any direct proof. That all comes later. Don't worry about that. In the modern world, you have to do as Steve said, look around the edges, and that's going to be all you ever get. So you have to take that and run with it. And yes, that advice is going to blow up some marriages that otherwise wouldn't need to be blown up, but that's not going to be many of them.
Okay, let me tell you how you do that. Basically, women's stories are all the same. Okay? There's a few variations. But if some other woman did it, I mean, there's like a promiscuous time in college. Common occurrence. A past abortion. Common occurrence. She's an alpha widow. She has this guy, he was the perfect one and it didn't work out. Common occurrence. Over time, years maybe, she will make little comments about something. And okay, that's over here. It's on the periphery. And now you have to know what women do in general and say, does this fit here? For instance, my ex-wife, I came home one day and she says, oh, this college friend of mine died. It was a male friend. She was disturbed by it, grieving over it. Plutarch, what could that mean?
Oh, the first thought that jumps to mind is alpha widow much?
Okay. Now, it seems like you're jumping to a conclusion. How the hell did you get there?
Experience.
Kind of along the edge. What's a common occurrence for women? Okay, that's leaking information.
Ken, I'll give you a personal story too, from the same thing. I was given bad advice by my second internship pastor friend. He said, oh, you just need to let your woman go on a vacation, visit her friends, get time away from you. I was like, okay, this would be nice. Just kind of let her go out, do her thing. I thought nothing. I thought I was being the good husband, right? Well, interestingly, she wanted to go to these parties, like at her friend's house. And you should usually call me right before she goes to bed. He's like, no, I didn't really want to bother you right before you go to bed, so I decided to call you. Usually, like if it'd be like 7 o'clock instead of like 10 o'clock, right? And she's at this party. Then when she comes back, she kept talking about this guy she met at the party. And I'm like, why? And he said this and this and this. And I said, he sounds like an idiot. And she jumped to defended him. I'm like, that's weird. Well, I got my suspicions. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
She had a girls' night with Joanna. Again, thought zero about it. Never had an indication or concern. It was a woman. Actually thought it was her boss that she was cheating with. After that night is when I really started seeing all of this. Now jump to this past weekend and we were hanging out as usual. I should also mention that during this phase, the sex died off greatly. We were typically in every time we saw each other frequency, and a few times over the weekend. At the beginning of the year, that went to Friday nights only. And then the last 2 Fridays, I could tell she was checked out. Anyways, after last time we had sex, I knew it. And then that day, I mentioned being with her on the 4th of July while we were out running errands, which normally she would be excited. And that barely registered with her and got her a half-hearted good in response. I knew I had to investigate, so I checked her phone when we got home. And there it was, all of it. The texts about missing her, being obsessed with her, wanting to look good for her for their date, and how she was thinking about her and wishing it was her she was kissing instead of me. Ouch. No guy wants to see that. To say I was angry is an understatement. I walked out of her bedroom where her phone was charging. I told her I was going to the gas station to get some gas and ice. Her ice maker wasn't working, and we were planning on having some drinks that evening. I needed to get out and calm down before I addressed it. Went to the gas station, sat in the parking lot, and thought about how to do this. I decided the best way was to let her tell me. I'm not sure why, because I'm going to be the villain in her story no matter what. So I get back, sit down calmly on the couch next to her. She smiles at me, so I ask her a question. What would you do if I betrayed your trust?
Sorry, Steve. Okay, guy. Rich just, and this guy's story, he just said it. No matter what you do, you will be the villain of her story. And so what this guy does, I mean, this guy is just doing red pill game like to perfection. Okay. So yeah, you can set up the situation where she has to tell you that that's what she's doing. And that's good, but you're still going to be the villain somehow. Don't think that this is going to she's just going to go, oh, I was wrong. No, she wants out. And I don't know what this guy's going to say next, but he's obviously smart enough to recognize where this is going. Okay. And so instead, just understand that if you do this, if you get her to say it, the relationship's over. Her saying it doesn't change the fact of the relationship being over. It's done. Just accept that. And your Christian men, oh, but I'm married to her. Yeah, look, she's cheating. Even in the Christian space, she's already abandoned the marriage. You're just figuring it out.
In this case, it's not another man, it's another woman.
Well, okay. Let her go. Just go.
Okay, let's just kind of summarize here. This guy sounds like a decent guy. Fair, probably attractive, makes a good living, works out, he's healthy, probably kind of a Chad. But he's not writing in to his story for Rich to read for attention, for validation. He's just telling his story. Could he be lying? He could, but guys don't seek that kind of validation for tell a lie. Oh, he's really a good guy, and then have somebody read it and affirm it. We don't give a shit. I'll just do my own thing. I'm doing this to help other men realize what's going on. So let's assume this guy was a decent guy. He probably was. And this is what happened to him. And it looks like he vetted the woman fairly well, probably not perfectly. And still, this is what happened.
Vetting is not designed to prevent this from happening to you. Okay? Vetting serves two purposes. One, it sets the ground rules for the relationship. But two, it gives you a sense of who that woman is. This doesn't mean that she's not going to, at some later date, decide she wants to become a dyke. Okay? Like, that happens. Okay? You can't vet for that. But if you don't vet, you will absolutely run into every single mom out there looking for a meal ticket. Vetting is just getting rid of the worst of the worst. That's what we do when we do that.
Okay. Nick, talk about her mask.
Oh, women wear masks. And vetting can help you see who the real person is as you kind of get to know them, ask questions kind of indirectly or directly at times. But women tend to hide behind a mask. They tend to hide who they truly are, and then they'll get mad. They're the victim because you never love them for who they truly are. And they're also afraid that you'll know who they truly
Okay. In the first story about the trad wife, obviously Anthony was saying trad wife is a LARP, live action role play. It's a video game term. In other words, a LARP is a mask. Why do the young women pick up wear the trad wife mask? Okay, they want to secure a man, but then they want the attention of other men and to be superior to other women. They're in competition against other women. So if they can show their wonderful life where they can bake cookies and have this charmed existence living in a McMansion in the suburbs and wearing an apron, and then their husband comes home from work and and they go to church every Sunday. It's a mask of I have it all. Look how much better I'm doing than all you other women. But she also did it to secure the man. In this case, single mom, okay, feeling lonely, even if her kids are older, out of the house, damn, she needs a man in her life. So she puts on the mask of, oh, I'm a good single mother, unlike those others. And I just, divorce just happened, or I had to divorce him. He was a narcissist or something, or abusive. So her objective is to get a man in her life. So she's going to wear that nice, wholesome woman. Well, obviously, she's going to have sex with them. This is a secular world after all. But she's going to, I'm a good woman. See, I care about you. I bake cakes for you. I send you coffee. I greet you when you come home. It's all a mask. And now we're finding out when the mask comes off, what's underneath.
Well, and Steve, there's another point that I want to make here is that the feminists and the leftists who all hate us in the red pill will try to say something like, well, surely all we're getting is the man side of the story. So surely he's done something to her to that he deserves this. Well, that denies agency to you leftists out there, that denies agency to the woman. And you're talking about somebody who wants to go be with another woman. Careful how far you take this. I'll shred you with your own politics. But also, there's this idea that all of us red pill men are somehow these domineering, brutes of men who just, feel, we just have to control everything the woman does. It's like, sorry, this guy is extremely rational, even and reasonable, even in older, going back decades. This would have been a pretty reasonable take. But what this guy's doing, look, cheating, fine. I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm just going to kick you out.
Yeah, let's see how he handles it.
She said that she would never cheat on me and that we would talk it out and come to a rational conclusion. She knew I was onto something. I told her I never said anything about cheating. I asked her, how long has this been going on next? Which she played dumb and claimed nothing was going on 3 times. She swore up and down that nothing was going on. I finally raised my voice and I said, cut the shit, Rachel. How long? Then can you guess what happened next? The tears. Those are the crocodile tears, boys. I've said this before. You can only trust a woman's tears when she's crying by herself and nobody is watching. When she cries in front of you as a man, the crocodile tears are there to influence your decision or to gain sympathy. Know this. The conversation went something like this. Rachel, I don't know how it happened. I just developed feelings for her, the fellow writing this. I can tell you how it happened. It happened when it started getting personal and emotional. You didn't shut it down. You allowed somebody to get that close to you. You don't think I've had opportunities over the last 2 years? Of course I have, but I shut it down immediately. You didn't. You allowed this to happen. Rachel, but I swear, nothing physical has happened. The author, another lie. Last Wednesday, when you had your girls' night out with her, it was a date, wasn't it? Rachel, quietly with her head down. Yes. The author. So tell me again, nothing happened. Rachel, okay, we kissed. That's it. The author. Well, that's all I needed to hear. We're done. With that, packed my stuff while she sat in her bed sobbing, begging me
Dave.
not to leave. I told her I
Dave.
couldn't.
That's exactly how you should handle it. Oh, you physically cheated? We're done. Bye. Not anger, not emotion, just you did this, you violated these rules. Bye. That's
Okay,
it.
she lied, she deceived. Then she lied and lied and lied. And then told the truth. Oh yeah, something happened. But it wasn't physical, but that was a lie. And then it was. And so are you ever going to trust this woman that it wasn't more
No.
than a kiss?
Of course not. No.
Was it the first? Come on.
Yeah. Nick, yeah. Right. No, you can't, you can never trust this person again. That's the thing about cheating that people who, like, you know, if you've been cheated on, it's the trust. It's not the physical part. It really isn't. Having gone through this, the physical part, yeah, okay, you know, fine. You feel that way, you know, go do that. It's the loss of trust. It's like, yeah, you did that. That's fine, but I can never trust you with anything again. Just admit you're done and move on. This guy did it right.
And it may not be another man. I don't know that we need to go into any more here. Rich goes on to make a point that I don't know, he says something like 1/3 of women are bisexual. And he says the rest of the women are kind of bisexual, they just won't admit it. It's not uncommon. It's really not. Especially women who've had their college experience. They probably won't admit it. But there may have been some woman-to-woman action, or at least exploration of that. It's not uncommon.
Okay.
So my point is, again, there was the mask. Guys, you're going to fall for this mask. You're going to believe it. But a part of you needs to never fully trust in what a woman says. Never. I don't care how you can love her, absolutely. But never should you totally trust. You always need to be observing her actions and double checking to make sure if everything still makes sense. Now, I'm not saying to do anything that would remove provision or love or anything, but you need to have you need to remain aware. Do you think that's good advice, Nick and Plutarch?
The price of a relationship is eternal vigilance. Now, I realize that that's a misquote of the actual quote, but I think it fits.
War brides exist for a reason, even in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
They can go to another man within a month. I mean,
oh, and that happens in divorce situations. Oh man, we don't really know how many male divorce attorneys get their dicks wet. They're good at keeping secrets, and so are the women. But I will guarantee you, it is female nature that this is my new savior. He is taking care of things. They are going to have affections for their new protector. I remember in divorce court, first time around, my my attorney mentioned how she was looking at her attorney with just admiration, desire. It was just absolutely apparent. Okay, the guy was married, but did anything happen? I don't know. But I'll guarantee you that the opportunity was probably there.
Well, it was even important for Adam to even check Eve in the garden, which he failed to do. So, what makes you think that we're in an even better situation now under the fallen state? A better
Wait, Nick. Are you saying that God gave a commandment to check on Eve, and the price for his failure was the fall of man?
Pretty much.
Oh, so this is a command that preexists the fall of man, which means that this is a condition of women that preexists the fall of man. That's that's an interesting statement, because it means that even if man was not fallen in the eyes of God, women would still behave this way, because that's how they were designed.
Wait, you're implying that women were not created to be entirely autonomous creatures, and they were created instead to be helpers of men.
Yes.
Oh, is this a Christian point of view?
I think we just made that case. Yes.
Man, but we know so much more now in our modern world. Is this still true?
Yeah, unfortunately, we know even more.
Yeah.
It's nauseating.
Okay. I think we've gotten enough out of this one. Here's another point. All women wear masks. All of them. And that's never going to change. They're going to behave in a certain way depending on what their objective is. Even good women will wear a mask and behave in a certain way according to their objective. Do they consciously know what their objective is? Sometimes, not all the time. It's kind of an emotional state of being and a feeling of an objective. It's not plotted out in detail most of the time, the vast majority of the time. I want a man, he has to be tall and rich and nice. So I'm going to be my bubbly self. And well, she doesn't even think that. She just innately behaves in a certain way. What do you
Left
guys
with
think?
themselves that is certain destruction, because the heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? Says the word of the Lord. So, if their whole way of being is going after the heart, how they feel, especially tend towards destruction. But still, they're the victim. That's the
Yes.
Well, we never.
But
In this Rich Cooper, the story Rich Cooper is telling, we didn't get the part where she plays victim. We don't need to. I
was
don't
gonna
even
say.
know if it's in there. I'm sure it's going to come up sometime. When a woman is in a crisis situation, she will. Well, remember, she already said, "I don't know how it happened."
Bullshit.
Avoiding accountability. It's not my fault. Okay. Well, when things happen to someone and it's not their fault, what does that make them? A victim. They're either a victim of somebody else or a victim of circumstances.
Are we starting to build
So-
your tiers of victimhood here?
So is she empowered or is she a victim?
She's Schrodinger's a feminist. She is either a victim or an strong, empowered woman on the basis of what is most beneficial to her in that precise moment.
I don't know. What else you got for us, Steve?
Okay, now we go on to something new. A new concept. Well, it's not new to the world, but I got to bring it up. Okay. Let's go here.
Tuesdays I was seeing Miriam. Wednesdays I was seeing both of them, and we would do EMDR. And then Fridays I would only see the supervisor, Marilyn, and then we would discuss what came up due to the EMDR that we did on Wednesday. As I started seeing them more, and Marilyn was like, "Yeah, I definitely think she has DID."
There. So she's already in therapy for something else. And then the therapist, the young therapist, the one who hasn't finished her degree, suggests you might have this. And notice her language.
Oh
Oh,
no.
this will be good.
Hi, it's Zephyr. That was an accident. I didn't mean to switch in. But Rin said that they put
It doesn't look like a software update. And they're supposed to have different alters, different identities, with amnesia being a central tenet in the diagnostic criteria. And yet,
Okay, let me clue you guys in. The title of this stream is "Why Do So Many Young Women Suddenly Have Alters?" ALTERS. Alters. It's an alternative personality. It's like DID is dissociative identity disorder. Multiple personalities. So we've heard about this for many years. And people, and it's true. I mean, it supposedly people switch into these different identities, but usually the identities are not aware of each other, and it's a coping thing. But we're finding out in some of these young women, this is not the case. It seems suspicious. So I'm going to continue unless you guys want to say something.
Well, okay. I
Okay.
was just going to say that dissociative, what she's describing, that she was in that intro clip, she was saying, "Oh, you know, it's there's supposed to be amnesia and stuff." Yeah, that's the dissociation part. If you're just flipping back and forth, I don't think that it's. I think, yeah, and maybe she'll agree with me. I don't know. I'm going to put this out there before we get started. I think it is an affectation based on what women think DID actually is.
Okay, I think you're gonna be right.
Okay, well, I'm just throwing that out there. We'll see what the doctor
Yeah,
here
let's
has
see
to
where
say.
this goes.
This alter wakes up and is completely aware of where the camera is and what they're doing and where to look. I think this is clearly a case of where we have evidence for something. We have evidence for dissociation. It can be measured. Then psychology completely overreaches. And I think the danger with this is that when we overinflate such a thing, and the boundaries become very thin, they become easily hijacked by cluster B personality types. That's why in a 2024 review, they found about a 60% increase over the previous decade, diagnosed 6 to 9 times more often in women with the peak age of 17 to 24-year-old girls, women. If you put it next to the criteria for borderline, you see that the identity disturbance is its own criteria within the borderline personality disorder. They're not able to synthesize the aggressive self and the vulnerable self that they fluctuate between very quickly into a cohesive self-concept. And so when you give such a person a single narrative thread where they can interpret their own extreme shifting psychological states as entirely separate cast of characters, that is very appealing because then they become interesting. And this is such a good example of exactly that.
How many identities do you have? Who are they? For me, I have around 25 to 30-ish. They range in ages, in sexualities, in genders. Some examples, we have Layla, who's 6, and she is always 6. She has a birthday, but she will always be 6. She loves Easter and everything innocent, and is just the kind of...
This is the quintessential 14-year-old, I'm just too complicated for you to understand. This is hashtag not like the other girls, main character in this movie, except you are like all the other girls.
To do as a system is write things down. I mean, write everything down. Take notes. I mean it. Seriously, this is what's going to help you the most is being...
I mean, poor thing, she can die.
Hold on. I want to point something out. If you guys can see it. Oh, let me ask you a question. How many of these wacky women have nose rings?
All of them?
Oh, well, the last 3
It's not
have.
all of them.
She does.
Right. It's not all of them in practice, guys. It's not that easy. But
a lot of nose rings and a lot of colored hair.
Okay. Oh, how many of these people pick their pronouns?
So far, all of them.
Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, yes, you see, and then going into a long narration about their DID. They're desperate to do things that will make them notice that people ask, why are you doing this thing? Oh, it's because I'm extra super special.
If you're new, I am professionally diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. Today I'm going to be talking about how alters get their names. I would first like to make it very, very clear that alters only result from trauma. They don't just pop up out of nowhere. People can have varying split tolerances.
Did you say something, Nick?
I just laughed when she said trauma.
Okay. I was going to make this point. If they have alters, DID, that implies trauma. They're going to claim trauma. That's bullshit. It's not always trauma. And it's not even, maybe if it was true DID, this is fake DID. And what do they get when they have fake DID? Oh, they're special. Complex.
But Steve,
Special Olympics.
But Steve, she was professionally diagnosed.
Uh-huh. And now she gets a lot of attention. Which sex comprises 85% of mental health therapists?
Women.
which sex tends to like to redefine things and make other women or identify with the feelings of other women so you don't challenge them and make them feel bad.
Women.
Which sex might be more apt to misdiagnose something or fall for bullshit?
Women. I'm not saying men can't fall for bullshit. I've seen it plenty, but men have a chance. Women get one-shotted by emotion all the time.
So let's continue.
Meaning that certain levels of trauma will make them split that may not make another person split. Me personally, my split tolerance is very high.
The way she speaks, it is exactly like when my kids explain a game to each other. You can't enter the game unless you have this and that, and I have long hair, so I get to sit up here. I think it was Jonathan Haidt that says because kids play much less than they used to, they start later on to play with identities. And I think this is exactly it. You see it so well in the way that she speaks.
I'm usually anywhere between 5 and 8, usually depending on how anxious I am. My favorite show is Bluey, and my favorite movie is Across the Spider-Verse, because I really like Kobe Brown. I mostly come up front to color and watch TV shows.
It's exactly when I come into the room and my daughter is playing. My daughter's 8. She's playing with her girlfriends, with their dolls. This doll is like this, and this doll likes to have pink hair, and sometimes she likes to color her hair too. And this doll only likes to wear skirts, and she goes to work. Them saying, my altar is like this, or my altar is like that. A healthy person would say, I am highly reactive. I'm a highly creative person. Yesterday, I felt bold and aggressive, and today I feel like a helpless child. But I know it's all me. These people just have very poorly integrated selves, and we just don't have the evidence to distinguish these dissociative identities from ego states or different sort of personality states or different emotional states. It's just not there, and they have searched. So I find it unforgivable to give these young girls who are clearly suffering from something, the suffering is there, the suffering is real, to give them this kind of dangerous script, because it will give them license to never try to integrate these selves.
Associating now, and
Take your time. Let me know whenever you're ready.
Hi.
Hi. Do you want me to set you up with a question again? Do you want to answer this?
I don't know what's going
Do you want me to explain to you what's going on? We're in the middle of an interview about DID.
We have DID.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And that's what you're here to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable talking about DID?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want...
I can answer the question.
All right.
When you have DID, you feel very alone. Now everything's different.
What's different?
We're not alone anymore.
Is that a better feeling?
Okay.
What happened?
I don't remember the...
Okay.
We've had some comments in the chat about the occult, and yeah, it could be a possibility. Yep, dabbling in the occult, demonic influence, sure, could be a possibility.
Could be. I'm not really detecting this.
Or
I mean,
just wanna be super
it
special.
is kind of an evil feeling here, but that's the music.
It could be that they want to be super special.
I had a female friend. I'd call her a close friend. She was couple of years older than me. Very accomplished woman, highly educated, very, very smart. She was an attorney. But she had this child persona. It was kind of integrated, so it wasn't an alternate personality. But she would go into that. Like the 4 or 5-year-old child. I saw it many times. In fact, she still sucked her thumb as a 40-something-year-old woman at the time. This happens. And no, it wasn't. I don't think it was demonic. There was some sort of crazy going on there. And yes, I think there was some sort of cluster B, maybe borderline going on there. We don't need to delve into this much. My point is, this again, I think, is a mask. Because a woman gets attention. These young women get attention from this. And that is very powerful. And they're affirmed of being very special and complex. Oh, they're not bad for having this. Because, no, we're not going to shame them. Oh, yes, you have this because of trauma. That makes you victim. Being a victim gives you power. And now you get special. You're special. Now you go into treatment and you get to talk to somebody. Maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. And then if anything ever goes wrong in your life, well, you blame it on your condition or you blame it on your altar. It wasn't me. It was my altar who did that. And this is the new thing I wanted to show the red pill manosphere world.
Well,
this phenomena is happening with young women. We're not seeing it in older women, but this is the new development, and I think it's going to be growing over the next few years.
Yeah, it'll be growing over the next 10 years. These things tend to go in 10 to 20 year cycles. The interesting thing about this is it gives whether or not the diagnosis is real. I'm not trying to make that proclamation here. For anybody for whom the diagnosis is not real, it gives them an unassailable excuse for any behavior they choose to commit. You want to be a raging horny slag, you've got a altar for that. You want to be a little child, a defenseless little child, you've got an altar for that. You want to be a book smart boss babe, you've got an altar for that. Right? Now, there's a thing with DID, and I like how she put the thing about borderline up there. Borderline, it's kind of weird. Her description was actually very apt. They are switching back and forth between personalities because they haven't integrated the various pieces of their personality. This alter thing just kind of takes that and formalizes it and makes a process out of it. So, again, I'm not trying to cast shade on the doctors here, although I think there is some shade to be cast on them for overdiagnosing this stuff and essentially handing these people a weapon, which is what they're doing. It's just I think we need to be careful not to overdiagnose. And Dr. Spear's probably going to say something to that effect. But because the moment you do, you are handing somebody an absolute weapon.
happened. And she wakes up, and supposedly doesn't remember what happened. And that reveals the huge flaw in the way of diagnosing this, because it's
Okay, there it
only
is.
diagnosed based on self-report. So what you just saw would happen in a therapy room. The patient, she would tell the psychiatrist, I don't remember anything that happened before, and that's it. That's then plotted down as amnesia. There's no evidence of an amnestic barrier between these alters. Of course, they may experience alienation and lost time, but we have not been able to prove that there are separate memory systems. And so when they diagnose this, they diagnose it with the SCID-D, it's a structural clinical interview. Imagine here, the woman is the patient and the man is not the interviewer, but the therapist looks at the split and says, oh yes, I saw you dissociated now and you don't remember. And that will be sort of plotted down as fulfilling the criteria. And so the sort of the best evidence that defenders of the diagnosis have is this meta-analysis. They took 15 studies with 1,194 participants, and they found that the total
Steve?
score strongly differentiated people diagnosed with dissociation.
Okay, she's talking about a meta-analysis here. And Rollo specifically has talked about this in the Red Pill before. They're having a reproducibility crisis over there, and a large part of it comes from these meta-analysis. A meta-analysis is literally just saying, well, I've got 15 analyses in front of me. I'm going to analyze them to see if there's anything interesting between them. Or, I'm looking for something, so I'm going to analyze all of them. That's what they're saying. Again, this goes to, it's easy to overdiagnose something, and I can come up with an explanation for a thing that sounds plausible decades in advance of actually determining a cause, but we treat the explanation as if it is the cause. Okay. So these meta-analysis, if people start saying, but this meta-analysis says this, be skeptical. There is a huge amount. There's a selection bias that goes into this. There's the implicit biases of all the studies that they're analyzing. It's actually pretty difficult to do a good one of these, and so you'll find a lot of very bad meta-analysis out there.
I want to make a note. We live in the time of the internet and AI, and these kids or young women have this at their fingertips. So they know how to, if they want something bad enough, they'll figure out how to get diagnosed with it.
Oh, that's a good point, Nick. We'll stop it here because I don't want to go into the details of this. This is not what our topic is about. But one of the tells of these women who want this diagnosis is they know all the terminology of their condition and all the criteria for what to exhibit. They have studied this. And they're using explicit clinical terminology and descriptions about what they do. So they've studied it. They know how to play the game, how to behave to get the diagnosis they want. It's a mask. It's performative. So, okay, if you happen to encounter a woman like this, or such things are revealed in the beginning stages of a relationship,
Run very far away, very quickly.
You guys,
run far, run fast. You cannot save this person. No, there's no such thing. Get the hell out. Get away. Go ahead, Plutarch.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's yes, run, but you just have to accept that regardless of the accuracy of the diagnostic or not, either the diagnosis is correct and this person needs so much help that clinical psychologists struggle with them, or they're a lying, manipulative bitch. Okay. It doesn't really matter which is which. You don't owe these women anything. In bygone eras, we would have put them in asylums. We would have. I saw a tweet from, I think it was Ryan Stone, and he said, it might have been Ryan Stone. Sorry if it wasn't Ryan, but the tweet was great. Is that the reason, or no, it was Andrew Wilson. Sorry. He said the reason we don't reopen the asylums is because everyone would start asking why 85% of the admittance are women. Sorry, that was Andrew Wilson. I got it. I saw it on my screen there. I scrolled past it. So, this goes back to what I was saying last week about cluster B. These are not people you can help, fix, save. Okay. The only thing you can do with cluster B or DID, which is a relative of cluster B, is to walk away, run if you can. There's nothing here for you with them. Okay? It's just, there's nothing there. Their purpose on this earth is not to be saved. Okay? That's not their reason for being here. I'm not saying they can't be. I'm saying that's not their purpose.
It's not your purpose.
And it's
to be involved in their
exactly
life and participate in saving them from whatever their problems are.
Right.
Or whatever it is. Captain save something. Your job's not to save them.
Okay.
Do not try to save them. You will only destroy yourself in the process.
Now, I want to give a caution here. Any woman you have a relationship with is going to be highly emotional sometimes, act childish sometimes, cry sometimes. Okay, so that doesn't mean she's wacky. It means she's a woman. If a woman is truly nuts, she will provide so damn much evidence of this that you will have no doubt. So you don't have to look for, oh, she did this. Oh, she might be one of those. No. The evidence will be overwhelming. What do you say, Plutarch? You're the married one among us.
Guys, if you've been around women for more than a few hours, you'll know women are emotional creatures, and yes, they have hormone swings that drive some of it. I mean, the jokes about periods go back for hundreds of years that I'm aware of. Okay, this isn't what we're talking about. We are talking about somebody who is either diagnosed with a severe psychological condition or is putting on an affect of said condition. In neither case is that person going to offer you anything positive. They are only ever going to drain you, because that's why they're doing it. If it's an affect, if it's not an affect, they can't help themselves. It's literally their brain architecture, their brain wiring. They must do it. There's no stopping this. And yeah, the sex can be off the wall, insanely good. It's still not worth it.
So, in this childlike behavior, I'm going to add this cartoon to the stage. Now, hopefully every one of us can identify that. Mom says, "Did you steal that cookie?" Oh, wasn't me. It was not me.
Yep.
You got chocolate on your face.
Uh-huh. Crumbs on your shirt, your pajamas, or whatever.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
you ask a woman, did you cheat? Not me. I'm just saying that could, maybe they're telling the truth. Maybe they didn't cheat. Maybe it was their altar.
No, let's be.
Okay. I'm making up something that so far I have not actually heard occur. But I'm predicting that this will be a future story in the next 10 years.
I don't
It
doubt
was
it.
my altar.
Either way, you're out.
Right. It doesn't matter. If she brings up the I'm an altar, run. Honestly, leave your stuff if you have to. Run.
So I said, at the beginning, are women getting worse? Yes. This altar thing is a new development in the behavior of how to be the victim, to get special treatment, be a special snowflake, to avoid accountability. It keeps happening. I mean, the behavior is not a constant. If you talk, there's been lots of talk about in the dating manosphere, whatever, about where can I find a good woman, or even more so, women talking about where can I find a good man? Where have all the good men gone? Well, we see the landscape and we want no part of it. It's getting bad. It's worse now. This finding each other, finding a decent person for either a man or a woman. It's worse now than it was 5 years ago. Way worse than it was 10 years ago. And it seems that we are on a trajectory that it's continuing to get worse. What do you think, Plutarch? You're the demographer among us, statistician.
Look, the data on this is very clear. Marriage rates, all-time lows. Dating, all-time lows. And yes, as a result, birth rates, all-time lows. But if you go around and you start telling women that it's okay to behave like an unhinged lunatic who should be in asylum because that'll get them cash and prizes, well, they're going to do it. And this idea that it's just that men should just step up and take these women on? No, they should not. In fact, the only way to beat this is to ignore it for two reasons. Okay. The first reason, as I discussed last week, the heritability of cluster B and its associated constellation of disorders is very high. You produce offspring with a diagnosed cluster B woman, you will get cluster B coming out the other side. Okay. You can only increase the amount of cluster B by doing this. The other thing, even if she is not carrying an actual cluster B, okay, when you have children with that woman and that child sees mom getting everything she wants by being an unhinged lunatic who should be in an asylum, the child is going to do that because it works. And so all you can ever do is create more and more unmarriageable women, women that men want nothing to do with. And so to sit here and say, oh, well, but men, you got to knuckle down and marry these women. No, you do not. And men not dating, not marrying, and not impregnating these women is the just and moral consequence of our past behavior. Okay? God may forgive us of our eternal sins, but he does not remove the temporal consequences of those sins. And that's all this is. The marriage, the dating, marriage, and birth rates being in the gutter are the result of our temporal sins. And we will not be granted reprieve from this until we repent and move away from those temporal sins. But here's the good thing. Men are already doing that by not engaging with these women at all. That is the only tool men have at their disposal to correct this problem. And so men are doing the good and moral thing. Will that suck for the future demographically? Absolutely 100%. That is not up for debate. The only thing that's up for debate is whether or not this is a natural outcome and whether or not this is a good outcome. My argument is that this is a good and necessary result of what we have done to ourselves. And yes, there will be a price to pay for it. Consequences suck. Man up and deal with it instead of telling other men to throw themselves on the tracks in front of this train.
Those traditional Christians. Oh my God, we have a birth crisis. And the membership in the church is going down, and you have to wife up these women and have babies because our future depends on it. Sorry, by doing that, you are prolonging the crisis.
Correct. Absolutely, 100%.
No solution is gonna come until the crisis becomes too severe that there is no alternative. Yeah, it has to. This crisis has to run its course. We have to, as a society, we have to suffer the consequences, and it has to be purged out of society, out of us, whatever. And on the other side, then it'll be time to rebuild. But don't try to rebuild while the destruction is still happening. Oh, yeah. They're just bombing the apartment buildings, but I need a place to live. So I'm going to hire a contractor and I'm going to keep building new apartment buildings while they're bombing the old ones and damaging mine. I'll still build it up because I'll win. Yeah, right. Bombs are stronger.
As you know, I feel pretty strongly about this, primarily as a demographer. You know, I think this is back shortly before the 2004 election cycle. You know, I made a statement that got me in a lot of trouble on Twitter. And the statement was, there is an argument to be made to vote for Kamala Harris because she would hasten the crisis. Okay.
Yeah,
and
the
everyone
2024 election, you mean?
Yeah, the 2024 election. And a lot of people say, oh, you know, you're just an accelerationist, and when you accelerate things, they just get worse, they don't get better. Like, well, historically speaking, that is actually a wildly untrue statement, for one. Because at some point things do get bad enough that people go, hey, wait a minute, we don't want to do this anymore. Now, there is an argument to be made that what comes out of that is unpredictable, and that is true. And I am sympathetic to that argument. But the point that I was trying to make is, and the thing is, when you look at what Trump has done, he's done a lot of good, but he hasn't done anything permanent. Now you can say, oh, well, that's Congress's fault. Yes and no. Deportations are permanent. They don't get to come back. Okay. So there are permanent things the executive can do. Now, I will totally grant that there's a lot that Congress has been stalling on. John Thune is, in my opinion, public enemy number one. for stalling out the SAVE Act. And I mean public enemy number one, like he actively despises the very public he claims to serve. We've talked about the polling data on the SAVE Act. So to my mind, this demographic malaise will continue until such time as we get through the crisis and start actually trying to solve the problems, because we've frankly gotten to the end of our ropes with all of the grifters online, all of the people. And yes, you could say, but you're online talking about this. Yes, we are. But there's so many people out there who are cluster B, looking for the adoration of the audience and not actively trying to help. Don't give them that's why I said, do not give cluster B your time and energy at all, ever. Nothing good will come of it. It is an antisocial behavior to give. And so there's a few guys out there who are worth listening to. Almost all of them are small channels, because a cluster B, they are purpose built to get attention. They know how to do it, and they know how to get your attention. So people who are good at it tend to be big. The guys you need to be listening probably aren't very big. And there's a lot of good answers out there. There's a lot of good solutions. Some of them I'd love to debate with some of these guys on. But as Steve said, there will be no solution until the crisis. There can't be. The bombs have to stop falling first. And this is just another demographic bomb that Steve put up on screen for us tonight.
There's
And telling,
25. Go ahead, Nick.
I'm not saying getting married is in all circumstances wrong. I've seen it done better in certain areas that tend to be my friends. They also see the TradCon LARP. However, one thing it's not a perfect solution, but it's trending among people I tend to associate with. They will not wife up these run-through women that decide to convert to Christianity in their late 20s, 30s, whatever. No. They're glad they're saved, but they're not going to consider them. In fact, more and more are demanding that the women that they want have to be raised in a godly home by a father. And they are pretty much demanding virginity. And I think that's a good corrective that the churches implement in those churches. It's meaning they're not tolerating this crazy, promiscuous behavior. And they probably still think that they can save everyone and everything and rebuild everything. And they're trying. Okay, they're not my focus of attack. But for most men, look, that's just not on the table for you.
Well, Nick, here's what I would say.
The numbers aren't there in your benefit.
Well, I mean, we can talk about the number of virgins out there. Less than 4%. Pick a number. They're all under 4%. Well, here's the thing that I really want to pull out of that. The fact that the men are willing to set boundaries, to push back, and say, no, this is what I want. At this moment, that is good. That this behavior is starting to come about is an absolute good. Okay. So I am not one of those people who says, oh, if you don't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. No. The fact that there are men out there, and there's a growing number of them who are going, I want nothing to do with any of this, what you saw on screen tonight. And the fact that there are more of them is, in fact, how you fix this problem. There's a lot of people who don't like how long it will take to do this. This rebuild and demographic rebuilds take 100 years minimum. There's actually a case study in this. I think it's Peru, but don't quote me on it. They have gone through a complete demographic crash and rebuild. It takes 100 years. And there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, no, this is the end of humanity. Humanity's going to die. No, it's not.
So
yeah.
Somewhere 25, a quarter to a third of women have some cluster B. I'm not going to call it a diagnosis, some traits, some training, some masks, some deception that, man, those don't go near those. And and it's all across the spectrum. They could be in church. They could be high functioning, but very controlling. You can't really, you can't identify them from just looking at them unless they have a nose ring. I'm just kidding there. But not all of them are wearing nose rings. So it's really difficult for young men. Remember, I said all women wear a mask. It's just part of being a woman. She's going to be promoting, acting in a way to achieve whatever her objective is. It's not good, not bad. It is. Now, to what extent is she willing to do to disguise the truth, to believe that, oh, that just didn't happen? It's out there. So what I wanted to do in this stream is talk about real life examples, bring in cluster B, bring in masks that women wear, and deception, and to make you aware and talk about the experiences and stories of men. Because this is how the whole red pill came about. Men talking about their experiences and observations and trying to make sense of women, which from male logical standpoint makes no sense until you factor in women operate on a completely different plane of existence. That's about all I had for the stream.
Nick, do you have anything to add?
I wouldn't say completely different, but a different spectrum of existence. Otherwise, we would.
Yeah, okay. I'll agree with you, Nick.
Otherwise, we
completely
talk about
different.
two separate realities and never connect the two. But
well, they are two separate realities.
They're distinct, sure. But that's why we can kind of delve in and understand their reality, even though we don't. We know we don't operate that well. A distinction, but I think we essentially agree. So,
but women are not evil. Women are delightful. I like women, but I'm also currently kind of happy that I don't have a woman in my life.
All right. I think, well, it's not I've said what I need to say. That, Steve teed me up right there at the end. About demographics and stuff, and I'll talk your ear off about it if you let me, but we're not going to do that tonight. Next week, there's no stream. We all have various travel plans, vacation stuff going on, so we just agreed not to do a stream next week. The week of the 29th, and this just happened this afternoon, so I'm going to throw it out there. We'll see if it still happens. The scheduling is not confirmed, but for the moment, Glenn Lawrence has agreed to debate the three of us on let me pull up the prompt here. The prompt is, do red pill creators sell half truths? So, the three of us will be taking the side of defending the red pill and saying that the red pill does not sell half truths. And Glenn will be taking the opposite side. So we will
And maybe Glenn will find someone to join him on his
maybe.
side.
But as of this moment, he's indicated that he is willing to take the three of us on by himself. So it's possible. We left that open to him. He can bring 2 more people if he'd like to. That will be over on his channel. When I get a link to the stream, I will post it on our channel for those of you who care to watch. So that will be happening over there. If it does not happen on that Wednesday night, we will then run our regular stream. Nick has an idea ready to go. So, but so far, that's what it looks like our plan is. You guys know how these co-streams can be with scheduling and whatnot. So I'm not going to say for sure, but he has agreed to do the debate. So that will be coming up at some point in the near future once we can fully nail down the schedule. This weekend on Saturday on Elena's channel, we are going to be talking about whether or not propaganda is effective. This came out of a series of posts that I actually did with one of the women in her red pill circle. So that's the topic for Saturday. Yes, I will be there for this one because the topic is my fault, generally speaking, anyway, for stirring this particular pot up. And with that, you guys drop a like if you enjoyed the stream. If you guys, if you know a guy who's in a relationship with a cluster B or one of these types of women, please share this video with them. They need to see this. And they need to understand that they actually do have moral permission to walk away. You can and likely will save that man's life. So please share this stream with him.
All men need examples of what relationships are like for other men. The experiences of other men. We don't generally talk in detail with our face-to-face close friends. The only time this stuff came out was on the internet when men were sharing their stories here. Okay, there were a few face-to-face interactions, but it didn't become common knowledge. The red pill, the manosphere has done wonders, and it's only because of the internet and stories like this where we can actually hear what other men have been through. So, yes, share this.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys can subscribe if you want to hear more. We subscribers are nice because they tell us that you guys like and what we do enough to hear more of it. But other than that, at least in terms of YouTube, we don't chase clout or anything. So subscribe only if you want to hear more. And yeah, we will see you all Saturday with the reminder that we're all off next Wednesday. Bye.
There was a firefight! Son of a bitch!